Hi, I'm Lauren and welcome to my craft room. Today I have a Halloween card. I know, another Halloween card, but don't worry, I'm almost done. I love making Halloween cards and projects and I like to make a bunch of different kinds, so bear with me through this phase, but we're almost done and we'll be moving into fall cards. But anyway, I'm using the new Avery Elle Boot to Use stamp set and I was really inspired by seeing some photos of these really pretty Halloween cookies that were all pastel colored. So I made this really pretty card with pinks and teal and purple and a little bit of gray and just wanted to put that vibe onto a card. So I hope you enjoy this process video. I hope it's a little different and maybe will inspire you to try pastels for Halloween. I'm going to be using the new Avery Elle Boot to Use set, and for my background I cut using the largest stitch rectangle from Fawn, this really pretty pink speckled paper. I think it was actually a freebie when I made a purchase from them. And I'm going to stamp this really large pumpkin using jet black ink. This is an alcohol marker friendly ink, and I'm stamping that twice because I want to make sure I have nice crisp lines. So I'm using my We Are Memory Keepers stamping tool to help with that. So after I clean this off and put it away, I'm going to get out my pro markers. These are my alcohol markers of choice, and I'm testing out these different teal shades because I want to find a dark and a light color to color with, and I'm going to outline the pumpkin in this dark teal color completely around and then use the lighter color to kind of blend out that dark color. And I'm going to color this whole pumpkin in with these two colors. And now that I have the first layer of color down, I'm going to go back again with that dark marker and outline my image again, and then use that lighter marker to blend out that color. I find that when I'm coloring with these markers, 2 layers of color really makes everything blend well together, especially for really large images like this, because you can kind of see your brush strokes, for a better term, like the pen strokes. And so going over again just kind of helps spread out that color. Now for the stem of my pumpkin, I want it to match the pink of that speckled paper. So I'm getting out different shades of pink and figuring out what I want it to be my darker and lighter color, outlining that stem, and then using the lighter color to blend out that dark pink, and then doing it again, using the dark and then using the lighter one to blend it out. Now I'm going to run the die with this image through my die cutter, and it will give us this really cool window. Looking back, I kind of wish I would have done a shaker card, but you know, there's still time. I can make a shaker card with this set. And I'm deciding on how I want to color the background. This is kind of the closest to teal Distress Oxide that I had, but it was too green and I didn't end up using it. So I pulled out some Lawn Fawn colors. I believe it's Mermaid, Merman, and Tropical something. I'll put it in the description. But I'm using all 3 of these colors as well as my Pink and Main little mini ergo blender. And I started with the lightest color in the center, and I'm bringing that medium color from the edge in towards the circle. And I'm going to go all the way around. Well, I say circle, but it's more like the pumpkin cutout. And I'm putting that color in all around. And now for the third color, I am going to bring in, I'm just going to put it in some, oh, it's Peacock. I can read it. The color is Peacock. And I'm just bringing in that color in some parts of that circular oblong shape, oval. I don't know what that is. And just to give a little bit of shadow, I didn't want it to go all the way around with that darker color. And now, of course, I want it to match that speckled paper, so I'm pulling out 3 of my blue and tealy kind of colors, different silks from Spellbinders and Fun Stamper Journey, and I decide on the sage color and sprinkle that in the background. I thought it looked kind of like the speckled paper, and I liked the way it looked when it came out. And now this die creates kind of like an inside of your pumpkin. and it didn't quite fit the stamp, which I thought was kind of weird, so maybe I did something wrong. I'm not really sure. But here I am just taking some scrap paper and I'm stamping that line stamp, and I'm trying to line it up as best I can with that die, and I'm gonna run it through my cutter. And you can see it didn't quite match the same shape, so I'm not really sure if I did this right, or maybe my stamp wasn't perfect, but it's fine. It's not that big a deal and it's not noticeable. And I'm gonna color the inside of my pumpkin the same way as I colored the outside. I'm using that darker teal color and then using the lighter one to blend out. And I'm using the chisel side because it is a very large piece. And I'm just coloring it in quickly because most of it will be covered with the characters that I'm gonna cut out in just a moment. And you will barely see it. It's more just there because, you know, you can tell they're sitting on something. I didn't want them kind of floating around in the pumpkin. So again, I do 2 layers of color, and I'm gonna place it inside the pumpkin and in front of that background that I distressed. So before I get too far into building my card, I want to stamp my sentiment on the background. I'm using the cute sentiment, "You're wicked cute," and I'm going to stamp that also in black ink because my images are in black ink and I just want to be consistent. I also think the black on the pink will just be vibrant and it won't need a whole lot. It's just a nice little sentiment on the bottom. And I'm using my T ruler to help center it and my stamping little guide here just in case I need to stamp it twice, but it looked really good the first time. And that stamping tool also just helps me stamp straight. So now I'm using some purple tape to hold my pumpkin down while I glue down this inner circle part, using the pumpkin as a guide to make sure it's perfectly centered behind the pumpkin. And I'm gonna add glue to this inside bottom pumpkin floor thing and I'm gonna glue that just outside of that circle because it doesn't quite fit the inside cut. I don't know what I'm doing with this. It's really interesting, but it works and it's fine. So then I stamped and colored and die cut out 4 of the images from the set. I have the cute witch, cat, the pirate dog, the spider web with the spider, and the little cauldron with little potion bubbling over, and I kept to the same pink and blue colors, and then I brought out some purple as well. I also thought the background needed a little bit more, so there's 3 different stars in the stamp set, and I took them and I stamped them twice, once in Peacock and once in Mermaid, just to give a little bit more fun and elements to the background, just to give a little more. And then I'm gonna pop up my pumpkin. So I folded my Scotch foam tape in half and cut them down in half again to slim the strips down. And I went all the way around my pumpkin, including behind the little spider. And I put some wet glue just to give me a little bit of wiggle room and place it on top of the already glued down pieces. So it's centered perfectly and it creates this nice little inside background to my pumpkin. And now I'm gonna pop up my cute little puppy pirate. And of course that web was a little low, so he's a little low on the pumpkin, but it's fine. And I'm gonna glue the cat down directly to the background and pop up the potion, so it gives a little bit dimension. The cat is further back than the potion, or the cauldron with the potion, so it just gives it, you know, some depth. And now I'm taking these really pretty sequins from Trinity Stamps. They are the Cave Crystals Confetti box, and they're so pretty. They're iridescent, which is like my favorite thing ever, and they come in different sizes. So I poured out a bunch and I'm placing them on in various spots on the card, and I'm trying to pick out different sizes. They're not all the same size, and gluing them down. I'm using my jewel picker to pick up the sequins and using some wet glue to place the sequins down. And I've got little bunches of 3 because I like things of 3. And now I'm going to put it on my card base. So I have this white piece of 110-pound cardstock, and I'm going to place my card front on it. And I noticed that it's a little wide, so I trimmed it down. And now that it is done, I'm trying to squeeze out the last of this glue. I finally finished this darn glue. And I bring out my other glue that I've had for quite some time, and I'm gonna glue that down to the card base. And here we go, it's the final card. But of course, I've got to add more shimmer. When do I not put shimmer on things? So I'm taking my Wink of Stella in clear and just adding really subtle shimmer to the cat, the pirate dog, the spider on its web, the cauldron, the pumpkin, and it's not very noticeable here on the video, but when you see it in person, you can see this nice small shimmer. But I love this card. I love that it turned out exactly how I imagined it. I hope you enjoyed this card too. Please hit like if you liked it, and if you haven't already, please subscribe if you want to see more videos. Thank you so much and have a great day.